Good evening. I'm just bouncing. I'm
They
bouncing
just
with
jamming. I'm like,
like
"Come
come through, producer, come through. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm the Diva D from Carve Down Divas
April Cobb from April's Beauty Bar, and we are Diversity
and Equity
in
in
Education.
Education. And we are being hosted by everybody. Yeah, it's been a minute. We are being hosted by the fantastic, phenomenal Bianca Goolsby of Teaching for the Culture. And did you hear that new intro? Hey,
Yes, I was up. Look, first of
that,
all, the little
that,
baby that ran full speed up the hallway, like, what's that?
that,
Hey,
take flight, take flight.
he was running full speed up the hallway, like, what is that booming like that on the desktop? And I'm over here like, oh, that's good stuff.
April, how are you? We have officially made the first 4 days of school, and how have you survived the first 4 days?
Well, I logged in my journal. I have started a new journal called the Teacher's Lounge. I was supposed to do a week one, but it just slipped past me. I might get to it tonight. But the ultimate goal is to talk about what's the conversation on the campus in the Teacher's Lounge as it relates to the children. So it's going to be adventurous to talk about in the Teacher's Lounge. So it's going to be interesting. But I will say that we had a lot of children to come back. Happy
Mhm.
about that, but in the same tone, we already got COVID cases, legs.
Take flight. Just take flight.
How
Yeah.
about you, Lee?
At my school, I can and basically reflect the same thing that you're saying. It resembles the situation. And what I'm most concerned about, not yeah, well, our kids came back because everybody wants to be on campus and kids want to learn. And of course, our sixth grade numbers are always the highest, followed by seventh and eighth. And one thing that we are noticing too is we're coming back and we just like, look, I don't care if they got COVID or not, they come back to school. Now, here's the thing. Remember, you wiping out entire classes. And on top of that, you're wiping out the teacher. You have to understand, remember, the population of teachers is always going to be smaller than the population of students. So when you start to lose teachers, what do you think is going to happen with class structure? What do you think is going to happen with core content, the four areas that they focus on because of testing? But I think I'm jumping ahead, so let me just roll it back a little bit. Let roll back a little bit. So I understand that over 280 teachers were out within the first 4 days of school across the state of Florida. I want you to let's pause and let that sink in for people.
I don't think that was across the state of Florida. I think that was just for us.
Oh, in our county?
I think so.
Wow.
And it was like a couple of thousand. Yeah, like I think that just was for us. Now don't quote me on that, but we see a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that go past the screen, but I think that was just for us. And I think what the majority is not considering is the first 2 weeks of school. Well, I even say 3 weeks of school are the most critical because that's where you set the tone for your year. So if
Yes.
you got teachers that's constantly back in, back out, quarantine, COVID, blah, 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 there's never any true structure, foundation established for the children. So something to think about.
Right. And the fact that there are 100 was a total of 189, 190 days of school, and you're starting off already on a shaky foundation. Imagine what it's going to do throughout the remainder of the year when you're really trying to establish policies and procedures and you're trying to really get things organized. It's just crazy. And now we can just throw in on their schedule changes from now. We'll throw things like that on there now because the schedules haven't settled down. I mean, I think for most of my eighth graders, they pretty are okay with the schedule, but then kids pop in, because remember that first week we always seem to have kids will come, then you always have the kids that realize, school started, so they're gonna start dropping in to school. Okay. but but parents, we just gonna keep on reminding you, if your child shows symptoms, if your child been around somebody, if your child came home and told you, hey, 4 people in my class went home with COVID, I think the best, wisest thing is to get them tested before you try to drop them back in the schoolhouse. because they take, when teachers are reaching double digits of absences due to COVID, and we're always talking about these test scores, talking about how, oh, we're gonna raise our school grade. But my question to y'all is, how? Pause.
Take flight.
Take flight, please take flight.
Reality. That's truly reality. So parents, auntie, uncles, grandma, and them, we need you all's help as a community. Do your due diligence to check the children's temperature. Be intentional about if they are experiencing any types of symptoms. And if they are, keep them home. And if possible, take them to get a test. It's just that simple.
Very
The
simple.
same energy used to rush out and get. I'm gonna leave that alone.
School supplies. I'll jump on it. Let me go from there. The same energy that we run out there and we get the school supplies and the $200 shoes, and everybody came to school with no pencil. I just want to just the same way we run into football, because it's football season again, and football season is kicked off, and everybody running to get to the games and all this stuff like that. Remember, the Delta variant. Delta variant is coming back strong, real strong, and so we're seeing a lot of just kids just not really being 100% concerned. So, I mean, we have to talk about it inside of our households, explain to them the significance. I mean, right now, what did they roll back the mask mandate? They were saying that they weren't going to have it. And all of a sudden they realized, and I want to give a shout out to some of those counties too. They say, you know what, I don't care what the governor's saying. We got to do what's best for the health of our children. And so if you're looking at it from that perspective, think about the children, not about politics, not about anything else like that. What about the health and safety of the children? And even more so, the health and safety of the teachers, because like I say, and let me tell you, I don't know if you noticed in your class, you have kids who, because remember it's middle school, so kids will feel the energy of the other kids around them, and there've been children who walked into the classroom with or pull me to the side and say, "Can you give me a mask? My mama sent me without one, but everybody in the class got one, and they don't want to sit next to me." Okay. And so now here it is.
Don't speed cross that, because I have a story.
Go ahead.
The art of storytelling. So it's funny you say that, Denise. So I always explain to my students that even as a young child, I've always been the one that gets sick from anything. Like sneeze within a mile of me, I'm going to be the one to catch the cold. That's just the reality. So I always explain to them that, I've been like severely ill in the past. As a teacher, I've learned how to protect myself by, always washing my hands. That's things I've done. Always stay, out of arm's distance from children that have demonstrated that they have any types of symptoms of a cold. Always wipe my classroom down, always Lysol and all that stuff like that. But I told them that I am never trying to be mean to any of you all if I choose to make sure that I stay healthy so that I can be here for you all. And, just gave that whole scenario. So it was when I was doing my seating chart, a couple of the kids that did not wear masks. And in this particular class, it was only one student that did not have a mask. And, the kids began to express, I don't want to sit next to because such and such don't have a mask. And it became a point of, now, how do I handle this to where that I'm not disregarding the child that don't want to sit next to the child without the mask, and then the child that don't have the mask, how to, allow, not disregard their feelings as well. So I explained to both children, I said, I understand your position, but where will that child sit if no one's sitting next to them? So it was just like, today, let's just kind of work it out. We should be good, blah, blah, blah. Try to brush it off. You best believe the next day that child came with a mask on. Now, it would be interesting to know if he or she even told mom or dad what happened, but that could have went so far left with the wrong parent receiving that information as if I done something wrong, or if the child that also wants to protect themselves because that's what their parents have instilled in them, that they've done something wrong. So in the end, What harm does the mask do? Was my question in the end to all the kids when we was talking about this. Like, what harm could it do? Does it make you sick to have on the mask? It's like what harm does it do? I think parents need to get out of the children's way, get out of the kids' way, because you will find that the children want to do what all the other kids are doing if it seems like the right thing to do. Just get out the way. Stop making it political. These kids are seeing all this craziness going on, but in the end, they're learning science. And what they've been told about science is when you sneeze, when you cough, it becomes airborne. And they understand that this one here is more potent without a cough or a sneeze. It's just airborne. Now, you can't tell the kids to follow science. Oh, unless it's my I'm done. Thanks.
Having said all that, I absolutely agree. I would give you another example. My sister's husband actually, is susceptible to a lot of allergies and things like that. But he said that one conversation we were just having, he was saying that I amazingly, I passed through this past allergy season and I did very well because I kept the mask on the whole entire time. And he said, this is the first year ever that my allergies weren't so bad because I kept on a mask. Because, now he was terrified. Like, if I just sneeze around one person, the first thing he'll say, get away from me. So, but it's interesting how that worked out. And that for him, it was like such a relief. He said, even going into the future, he will then wear a mask during his allergy season, even if everybody else isn't wearing one, because he just wants to feel better about passing through that season. And so you're absolutely correct when it comes to kids. Remember, parents, you're at work or you're at home, wherever you are, kids are in an environment where they are around other kids. They want to be where what their peers are, where their peers are. They don't want to be ostracized. Middle school is tough. We got middle school. It's tough. They will bully you for anything. And as a matter of fact, our school has switched over to a brand new uniform.
Unsure what's happening there. Hopefully my connectivity is still
my connectivity just went out just a little bit.
So but, I'm not sure what's
you're
happening.
There. You're there. I can see you.
Okay, you're freezing. So yeah. You're back. Okay, go ahead, Dee.
Okay, good. So our school went over to a brand new uniform, and a lot of the kids were saying, well, the reason why they did this, because we're discussing uniforms, all those things the first couple of days of school. Well, I guess the reason why they did this because everybody keep capping each other and clowning each other about what they wearing. I said, no, it's interesting that you said that. I said, now we don't have options anymore. This is the uniform. So that there's no question as to whether or not, if you're not wearing that collar shirt, you're out of uniform. If you're not, you don't have options. So I wear a t-shirt today, a collar shirt tomorrow, this tomorrow. I might throw on some jeans. No, this is what the uniform is. Because remember, kids can be cruel. So they're looking at each other, and so that's really important. So understand that's how they feel when they came in. I couldn't believe how that baby pulled me to the side and said, before I go in the classroom, and you got an extra mask, I don't want to go in there because everybody got a mask and I don't have one. And I was like, here, let me give you this whole pack that have four cotton masks. I said, you can have that, so you can wear one for 2 hours, and if you feel uncomfortable, put on another one, a fresh one. You go home, you wash them, throw a little bleach on it, boom, you're good to go. Bring them back tomorrow. Okay. So kids respond and react to each other. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking of telling your child, oh, be defiant and stand up and stand up, and your child end up being the only one that's standing up all by themselves. They want to join the crowd. Okay.
And that is more harmful than anything. The children that they get pushback from their peers. And parents, I'm here to tell you, we don't have time for the extra layer with the mask. We really don't. Like, we already got to deal with, because I don't like you, because you don't look the same as me and everybody else, and you ain't got on the same shoes, and your clothes and please don't add to the plate. We try to take stuff off of it every day, the bully plate, and you all adding to it. So that's our opinions, and you ain't gotta like them.
Say that. And let me tell you something. Let's move on to your friend and mine. Well, actually, not my friend, but Governor DeSantis, and this $1,000 check that he done slid in everybody. Well, not everybody. Let's be very clear.
Right.
He slid it in teachers' mailboxes, because I was looking for the direct deposit. I didn't see it. I said, "What y'all mean you got y'all check and I ain't got my check?" Come to find out, it was a paper check. Okay, all right, cool, but without taxes taken out. But I consider this, and this is my opinion. I consider this a payoff check or a buy my vote check, Because really, I mean, I'm gonna do you like how the Trump people took Joe Biden Medicare and Medicaid and all of his money and stimulus check. I'm gonna take your money, but I ain't gonna vote for you. Okay, so I'm just like, that's what it seems like. Why would you? Because you slided this money to one of the largest associations. I mean, the teachers association is a huge group. So here, let's get them. But the thing about it is, you're not giving it to everybody who works with children. What happened to the paras? And what happened to the bus drivers? And what happened to the custodial staff? What happened to the maintenance crew?
And what happened to the assistant principals? I need to hold that thought. Hold on. The APs do all the work, in my opinion. At least 90% of it.
My AP sure does. And he deals with the attitude too.
I was like, how did you omit? Help make it make sense. Make it make sense. That's one of the moments when remember that video say, "Oh my God," that's that.
You are absolutely correct, because I am so. I'm going to use a 5-letter word. I'm flabbergasted. I'm flabbergasted because I can't understand how is it that you just decide to pick a group. But this is the same group that you telling us that you're not going to cut no money for if we force a mass mandate on the kids. This is the same group that you talking about. Well, no, y'all can go back with an online option. This is the same group that you say everybody got to go back into Delta variant. These people, but let me say this, and I don't mean to be cruel or anything like that. What about those teachers that lost their life in Broward County? Did they deposit those checks?
Right.
Because that $1,000 ain't doing nothing for them right now.
Nothing.
Pause.
And I'm screaming when I say that.
Just pausing, because I'm so deeply offended by that. I mean, because they can't get back their life. And one of the things that bother you the most is that you want to work and then live a quality life after work. You want to, if you got to make it to them 30 years, you want to work and then retire. You don't want to work and die in your job. So you didn't really get to enjoy the fruits of your labor.
And let's align this with, and I know they always say, well, the medical field is totally different than the teacher field. You're right. It's totally two different career paths. But some of our job responsibilities are quite the same, especially for those that work in the pediatric ward. And I think if we had an oath to take, because I know they say there's a teacher oath, but I don't remember taking one, but there's an oath to take, it still would be the same as it would be for pediatric personnel. That means that we're looking for the overall best, everything for the child's overall well-being. And that includes their academics for us. But we also want to make sure they're well as well, health-wise. So for us to just constantly be put in a position to where it's clear that the governor, because he's not mine, the governor is putting dollars and political before the overall health or quality of life for everybody in the education realm. Everybody. That goes from the principal to the custodian. Everybody. Because there's more adults on campus walking around without masks.
Just sip on it. Sip on it. Sip on it. Just roll them eyes. Roll them all the way.
And that's just, I've been looking at them too. When you walk in, listen, for those of us that choose to wear masks, because you're right, it's a choice for you not to wear it. Stay out of my space then if you don't want to wear one. Stay out of it.
I absolutely agree. I mean, and then on top of that, COVID has brought to the realization of how many people don't respect your personal space. I'm like, wait a minute. I need you over there, not near me. And I don't mean to be rude or mean or anything like, but you got your mask down here too, like the kids. Can you go back there? I said, because I'm trying to live. And the fact that people who've already been vaccinated have contracted it again, which means they had a compromised immune system from the beginning, that bothers me. And we still want to walk around without the mask.
Say that again for the people in the back. You mean to tell me that there's people at your that possibly are at your site, because all this is hypothetical, that
Right.
contribute more than once?
Right. That have already been vaccinated, but have contracted it again because their immune system is already compromised. I need you to stay over there and away from me and out my face. When I don't hang around certain people, ain't because I don't like you, it's because I see how you living, and I don't want to live like that. Ain't too many people come in here and just drag me from an ambulance. And oh, by the way, hospital's full, so they're just gonna let me lay here and die because they no. If it ain't critical, if it ain't a situation, a matter of fact, no, critical stuff isn't even getting taken care of because they say there were kids that had appendixes burst in hospitals, and I got to walk around with a little bag thingy hanging up because the hospital can't accommodate them because they're running out of beds because of COVID.
But we
think
okay
about
with
that.
we okay with that. It's not until it hits home that it becomes important. Unfortunately, it's not going to be until children lose their life in the state of Florida that can be directly pinpointed to COVID and directly pinpointed to that the child was healthy all the way through summer, all the way through these seasons of COVID, but now went back to school and now I have COVID. Now what? Do we say rest in peace? Oh, I'm so sorry for the family's loss, blah, blah, blah. No, fix it now.
Oh, on top of that, let me just add in there, they're not, if you have to quarantine, 5 of those days are only going to be the other. If you have to quarantine, what is it, 14 days? They're counting them 2 weekends that you in the house, but then 5 days is only what they're paying for. So it's basically saying this on you. But oh well.
But we have no choices as to how to do what's best for me as it relates to this whole COVID debacle. Anyway, it was a question about what are the unions saying? What are the unions doing or saying? Well, and that's what's being said.
That's it. That's it.
Not
What is it, crickets?
Because in the end, what can they say when you have the superintendent making the decisions to follow along with the governor? I mean, in all honesty, what can they do? But I do believe that there should be a lot more aggressive conversations, and I don't know if they're happening or not because I'm not privy to that. A lot more aggressive conversations around protecting the teachers as it relates to them 5 days needing to be out. Also around the mask, like I understand the mask mandate is coming from, the mask mandate was not put into action because of the governor, but I do feel that collectively, it should have been a little bit more aggressive language around it. But then you also have the union also has to be, unbiased, because they also have people in the union that don't want to wear masks, and that's obvious because the majority of our schools, if you go into the teachers, with teachers, you'll see that the majority of them aren't wearing masks, which is insane to me. Like I don't understand that at all. Like that part is more disturbing to me than the children not wearing the mask. I know the children are just trying to, follow what their parents request of them, but we got grown people, you feeling the dead air that I put between there, that are just, to me, not making smart choices because it's just science. That's just my thing. And I know people that had COVID that still don't wear the mask. Like, I'm like, maybe it wasn't that bad for you. I don't know.
I don't know what they were thinking. I know that my cousin is on here. She's in the West Coast in California, Katisha Ware, and she was saying, I'm surprised teachers aren't striking. So to speak to that, Florida is one of those right to work states. So you can do other things, but if you just flat out say you're going to strike, they just say, you know what, hey, we could get somebody else. And so we're definitely living a little different here on the East Coast. What's the question?
Yeah, we haven't reached that point Miss Ware, where all school employees must be vaccinated. And I'm surprised that that's happening in California, because you all
Yeah,
state be the ones quick to say, y'all got the special rules on credit cards, on any phone calls coming to y'all houses, because California
right.
don't play. So that's very interesting. However, I do recall that you all state was considered one of the hot states, like we are in Florida and New York. So it's very good to see that you all have science conscious individuals that are moving forward with what's best for everyone. So I do like it. Now, I will say that I'm terrified of the vaccination. All of my friends know I've been terrified of it. I'm still terrified of it, and was forced to move in that direction. And I still don't like it. However, I get it. I just was terrified because of previous experiences with with vaccinations. That's because it made me very sick, like hospitalized sick. And I don't ever want to be in that position again, which made me say, you might want to go ahead and take this good old vaccination. I don't like it. I still don't want it. And I'm rejecting it every day. But I move forward with it. So y'all
And
keep me in prayer.
I'm so proud of her too and everything. So I'm saying to myself that, if you look at over the course of time, course of history, you start seeing all the things that's already been eradicated due to vaccines, like your smallpox and your chickenpox, your measles, all things like that. And it's just another one. So I know, granted, that the big argument that people have is, well, okay, it hasn't been tested and tried and true, at least with smallpox. That thing been around from early 1900s. So we know for a fact that we can work through those details. We understand this one, of course, much significantly less time. However, based on the current numbers of who is actually contracting COVID now, you can see the number of those people are actually unvaccinated. So, we're gonna trust a little bit of science, and I put my trust in Jesus. But trust the science, and we're just gonna go from there. So, but we always want to talk about one of the most important things to us, which is the school to prison pipeline. And we do have a presentation that's coming up to present it to the CTA on the 21st of this month. That's a Saturday. So clear your calendar. April, just go ahead and talk a little bit about that.
So it's actually the Hillsborough County Council PTA is hosting their leadership training. So basically what it is all the leaders, or all those that are affiliated with PTAs and on the leadership committees at their school sites, are invited to this trainings. And we have been requested to host one of the trainings, be the school to prison pipeline. And our particular training is the school to prison pipeline 101, where we're going to answer the what, the who, the when, the why, and the how. And the how part is the most important information that any leader could take away from that are affiliated with PTA, or any leader in general, to be able to identify how do we make the change as it relates to at our particular school sites with school to prison pipeline. So that's where Denise and I take our hats off as teachers, and we put our hats on as advocates, as community leaders, and do our thing, because in the end, it's about shifting, changing, deleting, eradicating, eliminating all things associated with pushing our children out of the classroom. In that same breath, providing wraparound services, being inclusive about what it is that particular child and their family need in order to make sure that they could stay in the classroom. It's not going to happen overnight, but if we're not having the discussions, and the majority don't know that it's happening to a population of children that don't look like them, that's where we have the issue. So it's our overall goal is to educate individuals about school to prison pipeline, and efforts to make sure that you can no longer say that I did not know. At that point, it becomes your responsibility to do something different.
Yes, and we like to also make sure that people are aware of or know how to access their data, because a lot of times people will say, well, we're not sure where you're getting this information from. We want to give the parents, we want to give everyone an opportunity, especially parents, opportunity for you to look at the data. The data is there. It is there for you to look at, so that you can then take and be empowered. Once you have information, is what it's saying, knowledge is power. The more information you have, the more you realize you can you can make a change. You can work within the household and start making a change and say, wow, look at these numbers. Look at what's going on here. Look at how this is happening and affecting my neighborhood, my school, my child's future, all of that, so that you then can also advocate and start to say, I too am going to work towards stopping the school to prison pipeline. So this is something that we of course, near to dear to our hearts. We do also know that we include primarily it's the Black students, but we also include our Hispanic students, our students with disabilities, our LGBTQ students, all of those students that are there. And we want to make sure that if those go out, and we are well aware that we got to bring this information to you. Because remember, a lot of times people will bypass something. It'll go on for 30, 40 years and you can't figure out what happened. Well, let's start someplace. So that's where the 101 start jumping off point for it goes from there. So we're really happy about that. We're happy that we're going to bring this information to you. Okay. And now can we just jump over just for 2 seconds to this critical race theory and why people wasting people time? Can we just do that?
Let me just say this. As an elected official, all bets get just thrown off when you bring to the board of your colleagues, with 2 of them being, no, isn't 3 of them minorities? An African American and 2 Hispanics, right? When you bring to the board based upon what you said your constituents want to talk about, to assure that the information that's being taught to their children is based on facts. What damn facts you want to omit? Because all that we've been talking about been facts, honey. Sis, it's all facts. Enslavement is a fact. Redlining is a fact. Black folk building a White House, it's a fact. Project, what is it? 1916? 19, tell me which one. 1619.
It's the 1619 project.
It's a fact. Project 2021. It's a fact. I'm done.
Oh, let me pick up from there. Let me tell you what it is. I want to say to that. The fact that and I got into a conversation with sometimes I do like to get stir the pot a little bit and get these conversations with people, but I think one of the main thing that bothers a lot of non-melanated people is that this generation, especially right here, this up and coming generation, is truly a diverse generation. That you're not gonna, and of course, white people are truly becoming more in the minority. And what it is that they don't want to face the evidence. It's one thing to have a relationship with somebody of a different race, but when you produce a human being from that that mix, okay, you can't deny that there's another person of color on the planet. Okay, you keep on adding and adding and adding, and everything that you mix with this kind of melanin comes out with a shade darker. So no matter how many times you try to mix it and mix it and mix it out, it's gonna fade right back in because it's in the DNA. So here it is now. We're trying to deny the existence of a certain set of people. You're trying to, just like you try to deny the existence of the Native Americans, you're trying to deny the existence of Asian people by putting them in internment camps. You try to deny the existence of slaves, but you brought them from Africa. And the reason why we, as a people of color, are all these different colors are, let me break it down to facts. Slave masters done been in the house a couple times. And that's the reason why Black people are all variety of different shades of people. So now you want to deny that we even exist? Look at that one on the other side. She red. I'm a little bit brown. I'm chocolatey, by the way. Do you see this tan? When you and I went home, you see this tan? Right. Look, but let me tell you something. They cannot deny that we are here. The only ones of us that still, if you look now, God bless the people in Haiti, they're going through it right now. But if you look at Haitians, they truly are direct coming from Africa. That's the West Coast Africa right there. They didn't do a whole lot of mixing in once they became independent. But if you look at us, you see we all shades across the board because we've been mixed in here. And now they got mad to the point where, wait a minute, they got mixed in. They a little bit successful. They play sports. They over here being geniuses. They over here building stuff. They have been creating we call it again our infrastructure system. They have plowed our fields, and the reason why we live in well is because we had 400 plus years of free labor. So of course that's why we started off with a 400-year head start, and they don't have nothing. And then of course the overseer, which is also the officer that you see today, all these things together.
Come on,
All these
Dee.
things. Yeah, I'm telling you, the overseer is the officer, and all these things together is what make up where we are right now. And they mad because a lot of generation, especially this young generation, is now becoming, as the kids say, woke, and they're realizing we don't want this crap. We know our rights. We understand. We don't want to be shot and killed. All we want is to vote and have our right and have our voices heard. And now look at what they're doing: redrawing districts, scratching out the voting public. They going through, like, look, if you haven't voted within the past 4 years, they sweeping your name off the list. They cleaning the house. So when I tell you, how many times have April and I said to you, you got to vote in every election. I don't care how minor it is. If the voting is about changing how much the price of water gonna cost to come down the pipe, vote. Because the minute they see that you have not been voting, they're wiping your name off. So now you don't, when you're going getting ready to vote for president or vote for whoever you're voting for, all of a sudden you're like, how come I can't vote? Oh, you're no longer a registered voter. Pay attention to what they're doing. And look, our state right here, Texas, a whole bunch of, they doing it, they've been doing it. And they do it so quietly because they wrap it inside of other bills. So you're sitting there thinking, oh, my voting rights, cool, I'm straight. I ain't voted since Obama, but I think I can walk in there and vote. Watch when you walk up in there and see what happened. You be like, what? No, because they said to you that you haven't voted since 2016. So no, you can't vote now.
And then it's too late that day. You could do it for the next election, but you surely won't get an opportunity to vote in that one. So people, get your house in order this year. Identify if you're still capable of voting. Identify if you need to do something in order to promote that, yes, I still am interested in voting. Whatever it may be intentional about not waiting until 11:59, like my grandmother used to say, and then it's too late. So do something now. Be proactive versus reactive.
And another thing that we do want to share with you too, keeping in mind with all that, keeping those records clean. Okay, we posted earlier through the Sunshine Education Coalition about records that you need to keep clean. And let me tell you something, these things impact your life. The first one, of course, is the first one that you experience in your life, which is your academic record. You want that academic record to be clean as possible. Then, you don't have a whole lot of failing grades. You don't have a tied into that is discipline, right? So that then it leads right into your medical records. Those records should be relatively clean as well, which then lead into your driving record. You want to make sure that your driving record is good too, because let me tell you, what we learned at the Florida conference, the 2021 Florida conference in Orlando, one of the things that we learned is that driving record could, if you don't keep that clean, it could destroy a whole lot of things going on. Because once they take away your license, once they've taken away
your mobility.
Everything now is affected. Your ability to work, all that. Now all of a sudden, because you didn't pay a court fee or you didn't pay a child support, they took away your car. Now you're driving with a suspended license. Now it's a charge on top of charge on top of charge on top of charge. That's the thing that you need to keep all together. And of course, finally, the criminal record. Can we say any more? You see what happens when you have a criminal record. How many opportunities are just snatched from you because you don't have your criminal record isn't clean. So we urge you again to really get your house in order. And now on top of that, we're going to look at your voting record. So please, we implore you to please look at that. Right?
Yes, ma'am. That's exactly what we implore them to do. So, parents, this is the official first week back. And the reason why I say the official first week back, because the last week was 4 days. So 4 days a week is totally different in school. And it means it's a big difference. That first 4 days back, that was just basically making sure your children was there on Tuesday. Welcome back. How you doing? Them clean outfits, personalities. Let's see what we're going to do. Relationship building. That second day back, it was like, okay, you didn't know school was yesterday and all y'all rolled up later. And then by Friday, it's like, this the first week, your mama ain't know the 10th was the day, and, the dollars are associated with you being in the building. Come Monday, we're going to see a whole bunch of them that wasn't there all week because parents just ignored the date. I don't know how they didn't know. I can tell you when school is starting for 2022, 2023 now. I can tell you the date. I just look on the website real quick. So do your part, parents, and stay connected with what's going on in the school district that your child go to. You can see the calendar of dates that they have off, so you can plan your vacation time or your mental health days, because our children do get mental health days. Now we don't, but we know. I know how to take mine. I know how to take my mental health days and scooch it on the other way and be like, look, how the kids do. I'm out.
Because we sure did mental health days. We did a mental health week in St. Thomas. What was it? We did that for Teacher Appreciation Week. We appreciated ourselves, and our second mental health week was in Mexico in what was it, Los Cabos. We sure did get mental health days then. So we want to thank all of y'all for joining us vicariously on our vacation. So thank you for that. Okay, but also too, listen, parents, listen, we're being real serious. Look, if a situation occurs, like I can tell you right now, the situation occurred where all your child's core content teachers are not present. What are you prepared to do to supplement their education? Because you really, this is such a serious thing, because I see it happening. The core content teachers, and I think we need to just explain what the core content is again. The core content is your math, some sort of ELA, English Language Arts, your history, and then your science. If all those teachers are absent, what are you going to do? Because we're at that point now that you really got to start thinking about, how can I do this at home? How can I supplement it at home? We will post as many links and things like that so that you can get your kids on, but they got to get on there, because we know it's not their fault that their content teachers are not there. This is all due to the pandemic. But we can't just let them continue to slide, because, once again, they're going to test them. And let me tell you, I have seen some numbers when I'm saying to myself, why we even have coaches if there's some of these numbers looking like that? Did they even try it?
Bro, let me flip my hand. Why do we?
Flip what?
Take flight.
Just take it. Roll them real good. Because, let me tell you, some people were shocked into work last year, because they thought that, coaching was just easy and cool. I'm just not going to do nothing. I'm not going to work. I'm not going to say. But you got shocked into the classroom once teachers started dropping like flies. And now what I'm looking at is scores. Okay, well, if you're there, please make sure you assist. Especially, we got some new staff coming out. We got staff fresh off of USF. They came off the stage like this and popped up to work. They so fresh, they just completed processing. That's how fresh they are. And so now it's like they need the most help, not the least. And that's if they don't contract COVID during the year.
And let's go back there, because let's hold on there for a moment, because we talk about this all the time. We appreciate and value every colleague that has chosen to work in public education. We appreciate them. But if they are not culturally aware of the student demographic that they're going to be serving, they're not going to reach the child if they stay at all. We keep saying, unfortunately, some schools just should not have a first-year teacher. It just should not. They're not there. The survival rate is very low. We speaking from experience. Yes, we had to start somewhere. We started in all ed and we didn't even know it. But you best believe our classes were small. I think in my first group of students when I started out in all ed, it could have been no more like about 17, 18 kids. We were small. We were small enough to be housed in a church building across the street small. So love all teachers, love all ESP, love all of them. But if you're going to take a first-year teacher and put them in a inner city school where the children have already experiences low performance in their school setting for, I'm going to say a decade or more, no. You're setting not only that teacher up for failure, but you're also doing a continuing disservice to the children in that community. And parents, I get it. But you all need to start speaking the hell up. Enough with the excuses. Enough. If COVID ain't showed you all nothing else, it should have given you all a reality check of where your child's current academic performance strengths and weaknesses are. And if it's more on the weaknesses side, you need to do your part. I'm done. Soapbox got off.
Look, I absolutely agree because like I said, this week I had to deal with some children with some attitudes that your body size is about 4'8", but your attitude is 6'12". So I was just like, and what I did to just knock them down off the pedestal a little bit, I said, let me explain something to you. You're behind 4 years. 4 years. Your reading level is a 1. It needs to be a 3 to be proficient, and you're going to high school next year. How successful you think you'll be. Now, I know you don't want to be here. You don't want my class. Hey, listen, you know what? Hey, that's between you and your mama. Okay. If she want to get you up because you can't stand me, it's okay. However, you are 4 years behind and your reading level is a 1, and you're going to high school next year. Now, what concerns me, parents, do you even listen to your children read? Are they always doing TikTok videos? Just stop and ask them to read something, anything, so that you can, so I don't have to be the one to tell you that your child can't read, so that I don't have to be the one. Have them write you a note and see if the words are spelled correctly. Because it's very easy to determine how poorly your child is doing or how well your child is doing. Just let them read something to you.
Some of the kids, and the text messages, use text messages as a tool. Don't let them do the jargon. Make them write it out so you can clearly see, do they know how to formulate sentences properly? Do they know how to actually spell the difference between the principal or the principal? Right, and right. Not the name right. Like, help us.
One of the things I admire about my friend sitting across the screen right there, she makes her nephews turn the TV on mute and put the closed caption up. And let me tell you what this done. I love that strategy. That's one of the best strategies and cheapest and easiest strategies you can do at home, parents, because you can then realize whether or not the children actually can keep up with what's on the screen. If they gotta say, oh no, turn the volume back on, that's because they're not reading to the speed of what the actors are speaking. And especially if you have movies where they have closed captions because the actor starts speaking German or French or Spanish or some other language, and they have to keep on stopping and rewinding. I didn't know what he understood what he said. That means they're not reading at the correct speed. And so you don't have to buy anything. That's the easiest thing you could do. Just put the TV on mute, pull the closed captions up, see if they can follow along.
And that was one of the strategies that I will say while working at Adams Middle School, that we had that every single Monday of the week. We had the TV screen on and the kids had the book. And when I tell you, it was like a big improvement in the children's overall reading skills, their reading levels. It was huge. At first I was like, nah, that's not gonna work. It works, you all. It really does work. I can't say to you all, these boys over here, they read really well. They don't like to read because I force them to read, but it's because it's just boring in comparison to Fortnite. That's what it is. That's the only reason why they don't. But once they sit there after a while, they will become engaged. And we buy books that have characters that look like them, and they won't know that until they read the book to realize that the character looked like them. Now, I'm going to say this too. The only way they're able to determine that the characters possibly look like them is because of the different things that are going on in the book that are similar to their experiences. So I'm gonna leave that alone because I can go some whole different direction.
I can pick up and run with it because, like I said, that's why I created my blog, because I really wanted parents, auntie, uncle, grandma, everybody else, and kids to see that there are diverse books out there. I'm finding in my process of research books from Korean authors, books from the Spanish authors, books from all over, and the majority of the books I'm finding are from authors who have African American descent or African American. And trust me, there are so many books out there for kids. And when the kids open up the book and realize these, they talk about me. Oh, I could be a superhero. I could be a magical person. I could fight crime, and I could do all this middle school level, high school level. Their books are out there. They just are not in your child's classroom. So to put it out there for you so you can see it. It's available. The kids have options. It's just that they're limited. Sometimes school limits their option, but there are many options out there for kids. So just try to engage them. We try to keep posting things like that, and we try to want to share that information with you because we care. But like we love, just like Trick Daddy do, we love the kids. Oh, last thing. Okay, go ahead, April. Were you gonna say something on that?
I was just getting ready to say that you're very intentional about making sure that that information is up and available. So y'all follow that IG. What is on Instagram and
it's on Instagram and Facebook. It's
Miss
called
D Reads.
Miss D Reads, and definitely, I just want y'all to go on there, but especially for information, because I've noticed, just like April, we are veteran teachers, and year after year after year, that the one thing I see that's so deficient for our kids is that they keep getting exposed to material that has nothing to do with them, doesn't look like them. They don't get the feel of it. Then they become highly disengaged because they don't care about the material. And until we provide more materials that are diverse in nature, the kids will continue to be disengaged. So just trying to have stuff like that. And you can start with a graphic novel. Graphic novels are the easiest one, but they text heavy, but they still, at least they're looking at something. So finally, we want to just talk about.
Hold on, Denise. So it was asked by Teacher for the Culture, when will people discuss the indoctrination of the K through 12 ELA books that have a lack of diverse voices? Well, good question. Now, we know that like, I just get so tickled with the stuff that happens, and then people get bit mad when we bring it up or you bring it up. It's like we just the negative mofos in the Tampa Bay area when it comes to education. But it's a fact. There's no diversity in the books, and that's why. Why that happens? Because the majority of the educators in elementary that's teaching K through 12 are not African American or minority individuals, and they are the ones in most cases that's brought to the table to make the selection of these documents. I mean, it is what it is. It's just the reality. Is that wrong for me to say that as African American woman? Yep, it's going to be viewed that way because I'm going to be the racist then. But in all actuality, you're doing a disservice to all children when every book that they read, it has no diversity in it, because you make them to believe that the world is just going to be completely whitewashed the rest of their lives. No, there's going to be more than Jack and Jill, honey. There's going to be LaShawn and Kevin. They coming through.
And remember, once again, and we got this in training that the district provided. The district already has admitted that this generation, what is this now? Generation Y is the most diverse generation ever, because they're the generation where the majority is minority. So how is it that you're still selecting books that don't reflect that generation? So y'all like this. On one hand, you admitted, oh yeah, we know that this the most diverse generation, but on the other hand, we still gonna give you a book about a little white girl named Kimmy or something.
Then when Denise was referring to the majority minority in the district, don't quote us all the way with the exact numbers. I think the African American individuals are like between 22 and 24%. And then you got the Hispanics, I think it's somewhere between 29 and 33%. And then you got the other category with minorities. That's going to be your
biracial children, mixed children, things like that.
So on and so forth. But when you add those numbers up, minorities represent the majority. So when we use that term, that's what that means. The majority minority. Because it took a minute for me to process that, because I was like, how can you be the majority and the minority? So it took for me to process that a few times to now I don't want nobody on the other side of the screen not understanding what that means. So right now, we collectively as minorities represent the majority in Hillsborough County Public Schools. However, has nothing to do with critical race theory. It has something to do with the lack of diversity in the tools that's being utilized to educate children. That's it.
Is it clear for the people in the back? Is it crystal clear? We just want to be clear, because y'all Miss Cool, y'all do some sound bites and clip stuff out, and
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 it's
try to say
Generation Z, not Y. Generation Z. The
it's
Z.
generation Z.
Yeah.
Z. Okay, Generation Z. So that's all I got. I know about April. Anything you would want to add?
No, outside of parents, which I could go ahead and dump my what you call it, my the teachers lounge tidbit. Listen, parents, the teachers already were talking about the fact that kids did not come with supplies like a simple pencil on Tuesday. They didn't come with one on Wednesday, nor Thursday. And by Friday, the teacher had to give them a pencil every day. So you know how that goes. Parents, you went to those back to school bashes. Some of y'all went to several. And we understand if some children don't have supplies. But I think that's quite interesting that they are fitted from the head down to their toes in top-notch gear to include True Religion, what is called Hollister, some H&M, Nike Jordans. You had some what's the name of that one brand? I didn't even know they made shoes. Like the Cartier people. I don't know if it's real or fake stuff. Gucci, all this stuff. Parents, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop. Pick up a pack of pencils and put them in a book bag. Hand sanitizer. Everybody have it. Only costs $1. Put that stuff in the book bag. Tissues. We can barely keep tissues in the bathroom. So put the tissue for their nose in the book bag. Parents, do your part and check the book bags on Sunday while you're out of their clothes. If you have multiple children, one child bring the book bag in, you go through the book bag. Anything that don't belong, you throw it in the trash. Pick out the food crumbs, because some of us have insects in our homes. And I know it's just Florida. I get that. But you don't want an infestation in the child's book bag. And then you don't want the child to be embarrassed when roaches come out of the book bag. And then they feel like they are just want to disappear because their classmates gonna ride them. At that point, you can refer to it as bullying. I can refer to that as parent. You did not help your child be great, because you know what goes on in your home, and you know how to make sure that the roaches don't get in that book bag by cleaning them out every week. Sundays, do it. Do your part. Make sure.
And to add to that, parents, absolutely, April, I agree. And to add to that, parents, listen. The emergency card. Now, man done said, I don't know how I'm getting home. I don't know if I'm riding the bus. I don't know if I'm walking. I don't know if I'm a car rider. Okay, because I verified the very last period of the day. I want to make sure everybody gets home safely. So, but when I call the emergency card, when I text the numbers, call the numbers, skywrite the numbers, whatever I got to do, and nobody don't know you, or none of the numbers work. Well, man, when you go home, you can't come back to school till we got working phone numbers. It was amazing how fast he found that phone number.
Yes,
he found the phone number fast.
God forbid a true emergency happens on the campus. God forbid. And we don't know who to call or how to reach the person that either birthed that child or the guardian of that child. Benita Jones said, I know that's right. I said Clorox wipes, tissue, hand sanitizer, and other items with my granddaughter. We appreciate you, because when you sit in those things, that help your child be well prepared, or the grandbaby to be well prepared on a daily basis to make sure that they stay as healthy as possible. Yes, the common cold is real, you all. We get that. But we got the common cold on, what the kids say, on 1,000. Forget 100. That new common cold is on 1,000. So parents, do your part. Check the book bags every week. Get the emergency cards back. Tomorrow, go check the book bag tonight.
And also, if you didn't want your baby daddy, your ex-boyfriend, your whoever it is that on the emergency card, don't put him on there now. if you anticipate a breakup right now, I would suggest you don't put his name on there now, because when we call him, we can't reach you, and then we call him, and now you're mad at me because I call. Sis, I call the number on the card. Okay, if that relationship ain't stable, don't blame me. Take his name off the card. I done said my 2 cents. I'm done. Anything you got to add? I'm done.
That's it. We are praying every day for our children to continue to be covered and make sure that they don't, fall behind in their academics this school year, that they have a healthy, productive school year. But parents, God needs y'all to do y'all parts too. That's all I'm going to say. Faith without works is what?
Dead.
I'm April Cobb with April's Beauty Bar.
I'm the Diva D from Carved Out Divas.
And we'll see you all next month, same time, unless we pop in. Talk to y'all later.
Bye. Bye.